Let's see. We had a live stream here on Instagram, but it was awful. So hoping this one works a little better. I had some things to announce this morning. Okay, let's see. We should be live on Instagram now too. Yep, right on. Okay, so if you're seeing this, drop a comment in so I know we're live. But I'm going to make a couple announcements here. Most important thing on Monday, so April 8th and 9th, we're doing Zero to Hero Radio Operator in Camden, Tennessee, right after the Self Reliance Festival. And we need a couple of extra people in that class. As you can imagine, it's a lot more fun if we have more people. So I have a special coupon code for you guys. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here. If you use code SELF-RELIANCE at checkout for that class and that class only, you get $50 off, $50 off that class. So please consider joining that class. It is going to be a great time. Some things that you will learn in that class. The curriculum is in the name, right? It is Zero to Hero. The point of that is to take you from no previous experience, no understanding, no level of expertise with radio, and take you to a heroic level of competence in 2 days, right? Now, some things that are included with class. You get to take your radio home with you at no cost, which it's not a spectacular super duper radio, but it is a radio that you're going to have learned very thoroughly how to use in those 2 days. It's going to have some upgrades, so you'll have, BNC adapter, upgraded antenna, cool stuff to go with it. You get a wired headset with that radio for one of our scenarios that you get to keep. It actually costs more than the radio. So you get to keep all your equipment, which is cool, right? We used to have where people would just ask to buy it at the end of class, so we just started including it in the cost of class. Not a huge deal as far as the expense, but it's nice to be able to hold on to that stuff after you've been using it, right? So in addition to that, we do provide meals both days for lunch, and once you graduate, you are inducted into the Radio Made Easy alumni. That means you get support, you get free consultation with me if you need help, which is a big value. People spend a lot of money getting help from other people that you won't have to do once you're an alumni. And you get a lifetime discount on any products from Radio Made Easy. So really good value for the class. Even without all that, the class is a lot of fun, and there's not really anything else like it. Meeting you where you're at, right? And we've had people of all levels of experience take the class with universally positive feedback. I've had extra class radio operators already very competent with radio, but come take the class and really enjoy it. I've had guys that do more advanced stuff for a living that they can't talk about, right? I've had people, ex-military, ex-police, current military, current police, that have had more radio usage experience, but not really much on how it works, right? So one of the best pieces of compliment I've gotten from folks is just that they felt like they were empowered. Walking away from class, they knew how to move forward, how to take this and run with it. And in 2 days from zero, that is an accomplishment, right? So most of the content you find out there is a little bit too advanced. We do get advanced, but we crawl before we walk, and we walk before we run. All right. So I see a couple of messages here. Someone asked, any tips for studying for your general? Yeah, I have tips for how to study for all ham radio tests. You go to hamstudy.org, or you download the Ham Study app. You memorize all the answers, which are all pre-published. You're not doing anything wrong or immoral here. All the answers are published. You go memorize them, take your test, and then forget most everything you memorized and start using radio. That's how you learn radio. And that's what we do in our classes is we use radios. But studying for the test, I don't recommend you try to understand the material, because most of it, if not the majority of it, is irrelevant for the use of radio. Unfortunately, the test does not help you become a better radio operator. It helps you know a lot of electrical engineering and physics, and it helps you know a lot of rules and regulations. It's essentially an IQ gatekeeping device, is how I see it, and I'm not okay with that. I don't love that about it. I'm not a proponent of being a gatekeeper, but that is how it is. So if you want a license, you've got to be able to memorize answers to a test. It's funny, a friend of mine that hosted us, Griffin Arms, Josh over there at Griffin Arms in Pennsylvania, he is a farmer part-time. He has about 130-acre farm. He raises some corn and some cattle and stuff like that. And him and his father are working on getting their license to be allowed to spray pesticides. And guess what? It is an open book test. So you can take a machine and spray stuff that'll give people cancer. It'll kill people. It'll injure them for life, right? You can take that test with an open book, right? But you could not use a glorified walkie-talkie without memorizing all the answers on a closed book radio test, right? So they're keeping us safe, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but my class is not oriented around the licensing. It's not oriented around test taking. It's oriented around practical use of radio. Right. So again, if you guys want to take the class, I'll throw it up on the screen here. Again, I'm learning to use this software, but Self-Reliance is a $50 off coupon code for our class coming up this next week, Monday and Tuesday, immediately following the Self-Reliance Festival. So Self-Reliance right there. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? We're so advanced. And that is what I wanted to get on here and say. Unfortunately, my live on the drive was pathetic this morning. I could not get my audio to work because I forgot a cable. I joke that being a radio operator really means man with many adapters, man of many cables, right? If you had an Indian name, it'd be man of many cables, because man, you got to have a bunch of cables to hook all this stuff up. So I forgot one, and my audio kept dropping out because my microphone was disconnecting. So wanted to jump on here. I also have my voice back, if you couldn't tell, which is wonderful. Who farted? I don't know, buddy. Maybe that was you. But thank you everybody for listening in. Let me see if we have some other questions over on Instagram here. Let's see. Do I have to bring my own radio? No, you don't. All the equipment is included with class. I bring a trailer full of mobile radios, HF radios, handheld radios, one for every student, and then all kinds of other cool gear that you get to try and touch and feel and kind of see how it works. So you don't have to bring anything. JG Pocket says, love your stuff. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here. The FCC won't let me be. Yeah, Eminem said it best. Red Runner says, ham radio is probably the fastest dying hobby since Beanie Babies. Yes. Well, we're here to change that, right? Like I really believe there's a cultural shift happening, and that's something that we are a small part of, but we are pioneering a new culture around radio that is inviting of new people, and it's not tattletale, finger wagging kind of culture, but it is welcoming and exciting. All right, it's dynamic. We're going to put radios in the hands of all Americans, for better or for worse. Is the ham test proctored? Yes, they have their own system for that called VE, that basically is a proctor that makes sure you're not cheating on that test. Unlike the pesticide test, I'm sure that one is not proctored. Open book, just take it, whenever you feel like it. Send in your Scantron by mail, I'm sure, very advanced. They're from the government and they're here to protect us, right? It wasn't Reagan. Didn't he have a quote that was the worst words you can hear are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." We love our government officials, though. We love them. Headed down to Camden tomorrow, Chase says. All right, man. Well, I will see you there, Chase. Always a good time seeing you. Any thoughts about doing training in the Washington, D.C. metro area? We need this type of training desperate. Why would it need to be in the metro area of Washington, D.C.? What's that? Why specifically that? That's oddly a very small area. I'm not opposed to it. I don't typically like to spend a lot of time in densely populated urban areas. It's kind of out of bounds for what I want to do. But if you want to host a class, so, somewhere over in Abingdon, or I'm not Abingdon. What's the Virginia city right across where a bunch of people commute from? I stayed there once, Alexandria. Somewhere in the area that people could commute from. It's nice to have room to get around and set up. And we've done some urban classes, but the urban classes are very different, especially when you're working with vehicles and navigation. So I don't particularly love doing it in a densely populated environment. But yes, if you would like to host a class, send me an email and we'll talk about it. Would you consider running for president? Nope, I would never consider that. My test to be a general contractor was open book. Yeah, so get this. You can build someone a house. Not only can you build them a house, you can charge them money to build them a house that they will live in, right? They will, put a refrigerator on the floor that you built and hope that it holds up, right? Fill a bathtub full of water. They'll flush human waste down a toilet. All of that, you can do all of it with an open book test, but you cannot press the push to talk on a Baofeng without memorizing hundreds of answers. That would just be unsafe. All right, that's the state of radio for us at the moment. That would be too dangerous. Someone says opinion on GMRS. I love GMRS for a couple of reasons. Number one, the barrier to entry is nothing, right? So if you go on my site, the joke is that the test for GMRS is navigating the FCC website, right? If you can do that, you can pass the test. Now that is a test in and of itself that I have given you the cheat sheet for on my website. For example, when you go to the drop-down menu for what application do you want to fill out, for GMRS, you would think, oh yeah, it'll be in the G's, right? On the list, GMRS would be in the G's. No, it's not. It's in the Z's, if you can believe that. So once you pass the test of filling out the form, that's all you got to do. You pay your fee and you get your license. And what's so cool about GMRS is all the skills you learn as far as programming a radio, understanding the mechanics of using a radio, implementing in your life, using repeaters if you have them, all of that directly translates over to ham. The numbers just change, right? And the antennas change a little bit too, but essentially it's a lateral move, right? So it's a great place to start. It covers your entire family under one license, and you can get started using radio if you're concerned about rules. If it really bothers you to break rules, GMRS is a great place to start where you're not breaking any rules to use it. So I always recommend people start there. If they're needing a place to start, that is a great place for it. I do not see any other questions. Again, I will show this coupon code Self-Reliance for $50 off the Zero to Hero radio operator class in Camden, Tennessee on Monday and Tuesday coming up. That's April 8th and 9th. You get to take home your class radio and other equipment. you get your meals provided, and you have a great time. There's nothing like it. Come join us. Have a blast. Learn some stuff, and become a part of the alumni community here. Um, and that's what I have for you. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.